Alright guys, so on the channel we've covered quite a few earbuds that have come from the company Final Audio, and to this point they've all been extremely impressive. But the pair that we're going to check out today are the Final Audio Tonalite. Is starting as a Kickstarter funded project, and it is labeled as the world's first pair of true wireless earbuds that offers personalized timbre. And for those that aren't really familiar with what timbre is, it's what makes instruments and vocalists sound different. So like if several different instruments are playing the exact same note, you want to be able to tell which one is the electric guitar or acoustic guitar or bass guitar or clarinet. Any instrument you want to be able to kind of pick apart, have it stand out, have it sound different than the other things that are going on. This still is the same thing that applies to vocalists. You want to be able to tell, obviously, male, female vocalists, what characteristics of one vocalist is going to stand out compared to the others. And a lot of times in true wireless earbuds, this kind of gets lost. It kind of gets just blended in with everything else. And so Final Audio is taking this completely different approach. It's completely new technology. Again, I haven't seen it in any other earbud that I've tested. So we're going to talk about that. This is also a pair that has active noise canceling. But I am going to say right off the bat, the noise canceling is not going to be the main standout feature. And this could be on purpose because noise canceling, if it is really strong, usually is going to affect sound quality. And I think they're probably not wanting it to be as strong so that it's going to take away from the main selling point on these, which again is that personalized timbre feature that they have. So with these being a Kickstarter funded project, it's not set to start shipping in December. It is saying that they're going to retail for $329, but because it is a Kickstarter funded project, there is an early bird price of $279 if you're in the US. If you're in some of the other countries, I think it shows $249, but with like $40 added shipping. All of this information is going to be linked in the description, so if you are interested in checking these out, just see all of that info there. But let's go ahead and jump into the look and the design of these. I am going to say overall it kind of matches what Final Audio has done with their other true wireless earbuds. It has that same like textured look to the case and the earbuds themselves. The case on these is actually pretty tall. It's fairly narrow. On the side, it does have indicator light, so you can see, kind of how much battery life you have left in the case. The case is a Qi wireless charging case, so you could just drop it on any wireless charger. You don't have to use a USB-C cable to charge them. And the earbuds actually kind of have a different type of design. It kind of has almost like an egg shape to it. It is still fairly small. It's low profile. It does use ear grips to kind of keep them in place a little bit better. They do have smart sensors, so it will pause your music if you just take them out of your ears. It'll just go back to what you were listening to when you put them back in. And it also uses touch controls. And I'm happy to say that out of the box, you do get control over everything. So that's always nice to have. And then as far as like the normal type of specs on these, it does have Bluetooth 6.0, so it does support multi-point connection. It also has LDAC playback, so you are getting that higher end Bluetooth codec playback there. And then if you are looking to use them outdoors, it does come in with an IPX4 rating. This is kind of bottom of the barrel. It's just going to be fine against splashes, and sweat, maybe some light rain. But this is not one of those pairs that you would want to submerge into water. So now we actually have to go ahead and talk about the accessories before we actually talk about the main selling point on these, because the accessories do kind of apply to this. But inside the box, you do get these tiny little mesh filters so that when the ones that are already on it get dirty or clogged up, you could just easily replace them. It does come with 2 sets of ear grips, which is important to just kind of keep these in place. And then it comes with 4 sets of silicone ear tips, or actually it's not silicone. It's kind of a mixture between silicone and foam. So it's not completely one over the other. So it does have some flexibility, but it also has that ability to just kind of stay a little bit more in place and not just kind of be easily moved around, which this is huge because you kind of have to have this seal, especially for some of the testing that you're going to have to do within the app. It also comes with a headband and it comes with some AR stickers. And so in the app, which is specific to these earbuds, you have to go through this test. Now it says it takes 30 minutes, and I didn't think it was going to take 30 minutes, but going through this, when I had to go through where it's playing tones in my ears, I had a couple of times where it said it didn't read it just right, so I had to go through it again. And I would say it probably took me about 20 minutes total. Obviously, keep that in mind, the first time that you're gonna, go through this testing, it's just a one and done thing. You're done with it afterwards. But I had to put this headband on, and I had to put AR stickers on the side of these, like right above where my ears were, because it needs to do a scan of your head. It needs to do a scan like with your phone. It walks you through this whole process, because then after that, you have to put your earbuds in with the ear tips for it to play tones, and then you have to put the earbuds in one at a time without the ear tips for it again to play another tone. And then it just compiles all of this information to kind of, again, put the timbre personalization setting on it. And this is where everything just kind of completely changes everything. And again, we'll talk about this more once we get to the sound. But also within the app, obviously you can keep the earbuds updated. You can customize the EQ by going in and adjusting the equalizer yourself. You can switch around some controls if you want to do this. Inside the app is where you also switch it into multi-point if you do want it to connect to more than one device at a time. Now the battery life on these is kind of middle of the road. It's not something, completely spectacular, because on the earbuds themselves, you're going to get 8 hours on a single charge. And with the charging case, you're going to get about 24 hours total. Now, again, if you have these in LDAC mode, your battery life is going to take quite a bit of hit. So always keep that in mind. And if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, I am going to say that I feel like the microphones are very good. I feel like even in noisy environments, did a pretty good job of just focusing in on my voice and then blocking out a lot of my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
So here is a quick mic test outdoors using the Tonalites. I know it sounds like I'm saying this wrong, but I promise I'm not. This is how you pronounce it. It is definitely a windy day. I can hear quite a bit of noise off to the side, but really this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And in my opinion, this is just where all the magic happens with these earbuds. The personalized timbre feature that these have is basically giving these the most detailed sound I've heard on any pair of true wireless earbuds. It's fantastic what all you're able to hear with these. Now, I am going to say though, if you are a bass head, if you're somebody that just likes that really aggressive low end, this pair is just not going to be for you. And I don't even care how much you mess with the EQ settings, you are not going to get these to replicate that subwoofer type bass. But what they are doing with the low end is having them be very fast and accurate. It still does have quite a bit of punch to it, but it's just hitting you and moving on to the next thing. This is not a bass that's hanging around. It's not sloppy. It's definitely not affecting the mids and the treble. It's not giving it like that warmer sound, because this is a fairly bright sounding earbud. And it's, again, it kind of makes it stand out compared to other earbuds, which is usually going for like a consumer friendly tuning where the bass is bumped up, the treble's bumped up quite a bit, which the treble is bumped up on these. I am going to say, if you're going to listen to these at higher volumes, you might even feel like they are a little too bright. And I did go into the EQ settings a little bit and play around with it, but after the timbre, personalization, I didn't feel like it was as necessary before that. But one thing I did want to point out though, if you don't use the personalized timbre setting, the other setting that it has these replicate the final A10000 IEMs that they have, which is a $3,000 pair of IEM. So it is trying to replicate the sound of a very expensive IEM if you're not going to use that personalized timbre setting. So that in itself is very appealing, because I am going to say the sound quality without the personalized timbre is still very detailed. The bass I felt like had a little bit more punch in this setting, but this is pretty close to a reference sounding IEM. This is not a sound signature that you usually get with a pair of true wireless earbuds. And again, I think this is what's adding to the value. I think this is going to be a pair that is obviously geared more towards audiophiles. And for me, it was kind of a breath of fresh air just because it had a different approach. And then when it came to the sound stage and the sound imaging, that personalized timbre setting and being able to pick apart instruments is going to add to the layered sound that these have. And for the most part, I always felt like I was in a pretty large room. So I was really impressed with the sound stage and the sound imaging. And so my overall opinion is this: I don't like that it's a Kickstarter funded project, but it is from a reputable company, and maybe they're just trying to see what level of interest is going to be out there for something that just hasn't been done. I guess there's nothing to compare it to, so you never really know how interested people are going to be, but these do ship a month from now. So it's not like one of those you have to wait months to see how well it's going to do. And it is definitely one that I recommend just because it is different. It sounds fantastic. And it is close to that level of taking a high-end IEM with you on the go and getting that closer to reference or studio sound that earbuds just normally don't come close to. So yeah, I do recommend them. Again, I will have all of the information in the description if you're interested in checking out the Kickstarter page. But guys, that's my video on the final audio Tonalite. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.